Dead Redemption 2 is known for being one of the most detailed games of all time, both in its mechanics and visuals. The latter means it's also one of the most realistic-looking games ever. This is best observed by looking at all the animals that populate the land. The critters seem so lifelike. It's easier to notice because the game doesn't move at too fast a pace. You're encouraged to take in the open world and explore while you witness the slow demise of the iconic Van der Linde gang.
Hey.
If you simply look at gameplay of 2022's Modern Warfare 2, you will appreciate the Call of Duty game's impressive visuals. But if you take a look at a cutscene, you will be blown away. The realism is unbelievable. In fact, during some scenes, you'd be forgiven for forgetting that you're not watching a live-action movie. This starts with the characters, who look a lot like real people. They're complemented by the incredibly detailed environment, from bright deserts to grassy fields. They're perhaps the most impressive cutscenes from a visual standpoint in gaming history.
Hard to tell you boys apart from cartel. Where's your suspect? Track them.
Dispárales cuando se acerquen.
Gran Turismo is one of the most popular racing game series in history. It has been around for many years by this point, and it has typically set the standard for realistic visuals in racing games. Yet, the early installments don't get anywhere near competing with Gran Turismo 7 in the graphics department. There are certain scenes where the game shows you a few different shots of a car, and if see them out of context, you'd be forgiven for thinking you're watching a real car commercial, as they look that realistic. An area where the Forza series continually improves is in its visuals. Every new installment sets the standard for graphics. It has gotten to the point in Forza Horizon 5 where if you see a bit of 4K footage from the game, it can trick you into thinking you're looking at something real for a second. Most of this is because of how incredibly lifelike the vehicles look. However, the game's virtual representation of Mexico that you can drive around also looks beautiful. The realistic-looking weather effects certainly help the visual appeal of the game. There are many games set in a post-apocalyptic world. In most cases, the worlds are bleak and run down. They are certainly not a treat for the eyes. Things are different in Horizon Forbidden West. This is a post-apocalyptic RPG set in a bright and vibrant world that has mostly been taken over by machines. So, the predicament isn't great for humanity, but it's hard to think about that when you're admiring the beautiful and realistic-looking wilderness in the game. The character models look fantastic too. and area gaming graphics have long struggled with his facial expressions. Games have typically had nice-looking faces that don't look too real when a character speaks. This is understandable, since making a face look real when it's moving means getting the minute details correct, like the movement of the mouth and creases in the skin. The Last of Us Part 2, though, proves that realistic faces can be created with today's technology. As such, you can recognize what some characters are feeling just from their facial expressions alone. This allows for more subtle storytelling than you see in the average game. So, while it's a divisive entry in the popular series, nobody can deny its technological prowess.
Look around!
Okay.
In Death Stranding's first teasers, you got to see a virtual version of actor Norman Reedus that looked just like the real thing. From that point on, it was clear that this action game was going to be very visually impressive. And the graphics are certainly a sight to behold, and not just for the protagonist. Every character's face in the game looks so real, it's easy to notice because most are modeled after real people such as Mads Mikkelsen, Guillermo del Toro, and voice actor extraordinaire Troy Baker. It isn't just good face scanning tech that allows this game to have realistic visuals, though, the environments you traverse, while making your mini deliveries look outstanding also. The story of Detroit Become Human is about a bunch of highly advanced androids that are sick of the disrespect they receive from humanity. Several scenes in the game involve these androids going incognito by pretending to be humans. Even if they somehow came through the screen and lived in the real world, their blending in methods would still almost work. This is because both the androids and humans in the game look so realistic. This helps to further suck you into a story that touches on real-world history and politics, and the visuals also help make a world filled with highly advanced tech feel real.
So sore. Why's that? I fell over because a homeless...
The conclusion to the latest Hitman trilogy is Hitman 3. Players are once again stepping back into the role of Agent 47, where you're still after a nefarious group. This is still a stealth game where Agent 47 will need to adapt to the scenery to keep attention at bay. If you played the Hitman games before then, you know a large part of the gameplay is plotting out a strategy that keeps you away from the public eye and not drawing attention to yourself. This could even result in swapping outfits to get clearance into a restricted area. Hitman 3's level designs feature quite a big playground for players to plot their assassinations. You'll also be traveling to several countries, so the level details should be pretty varied. To top that off, there is a PlayStation VR mode, so you can get even more immersed into the world of Hitman 3 if you happen to have the equipment. Tokyo is one of the largest, most populated cities on the planet, which is part of why Ghostwire Tokyo is such an interesting experience. The entire population vanished in an instant, leaving their clothes and belongings behind. You survived the vanishing due to a powerful spirit attempting to take control over your body. Together you'll use a wide range of elemental magic and detective skills to get to the bottom of the supernatural catastrophe. If you love weird but compelling stories and rich, beautiful worlds to explore, then Ghostwire Tokyo is a game you should look into. I couldn't get myself to set it down. I was so enthralled by the game design and world building.